I do a lot of things in Trello, but something I couldn't figure out for the longest time was how to keep track of numbers and budgeting. And as a personal finance nerd, that was really tough for me. That was until I discovered the colorful budgets power up for Trello. So check this out. I don't actually keep track of every expense that I have, but I do like to have these planned spending categories for things that I know are going to be bigger things that I want to spend money on throughout the year. And so I like having goals and keeping track of costs associated with them. And the colorful budgets power up makes that super easy to do. Create a new board on Trello, just click create board, you can call it budget or whatever else you want to. Go to the board, and next you're going to want to add the colorful budgets power-ups. So go to the power-ups button, click add power-ups, and search for colorful budget right there. Go ahead and hit add, and it's going to take a second, and it's going to walk you through these parts, and boom, you are all good to go. So whether it's for work or personal, whatever you're trying to make a budget for, it's super easy to organize it and do this here. So the way you start is you click add a category, and this is where you'll define, let's say we want to say coffee. Maybe I want to track how much I'm eating out with coffee. You can give it a color, and that's going to show up at the top. You can even give it a goal. And this is what is really cool, because if it's a spending goal, this is a good way to keep track of what's that limit, and you'll be able to see that in your reports. So maybe it's $100 this month. You'd use a funding goal if it's an income you want to keep track of. And if there are labels in the board, then you can use the labels to indicate which items will relate to that spending category. So we'll go ahead and click create, and you see I've got a category here, and I can see my spending goal is $100, my income, and my expenses. And now I just need to add items. And so anytime I want to add an expense, I can say what it is, and I just open up the card, and I can use the colorful budget fields to say an expense of, $5 or whatever it is. And notice at the top up here, it's going to automatically update the expense to aggregate all of the items here. So you can see they'll add up with each other, and it's super cool. And so now I've got $8, and I can see how much I've spent of my total spending goal. So that's really cool to see. And right by default, it's going to be using these colorful budget fields, but you can actually click here to change it to use custom fields, and you're gonna have to configure those fields, but you can just click a button to do that, and then you can keep track of your expenses in there instead of in these fields. And the reason you're gonna want to do that is because it's actually going to let you access it on mobile, because you can't access power-ups on Trello's mobile app, but you can access custom fields. So then you can create a card, input the expense, and it's gonna aggregate it there. So it's super cool. So that's how you would get started with that. And if you want to see some data about your spending, I recommend checking out their dashboard. So again, you just click power-ups and you go to the budget dashboard. And it's going to show you all of these insights about your different categories and how much you've spent, how much you plan to spend, and what that's looked like over time. You can also add filters, so if you want to drill down into any of this and look at a certain period, you can dive into it. Or if you're a spreadsheet nerd, you can click to export this to a CSV or XLS and then put it in a spreadsheet and do whatever you would like with it. So if you want to go ahead and get started, they have a generous free trial, and the creators are super helpful. They're really great to work with. So I encourage you to give it a try and comment on here and tell me what you think. I'm excited to see what you're going to use it for.